Are we ready for the jury? Okay, we ready? Yeah. All right, if we can just be seated and we're ready to start again. Okay, yes, Mr. Chu?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon again, Ms. Dembrowski. I'm told that both you and I need to speak a little closer to our microphones.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. And when we took the break, I think you had just testified that the next time you had seen Ms. Heard was when she had just returned from Australia.
Yes.
What, if anything, did you discuss with Ms. Heard when she returned from Australia?
Excuse me, we met for dinner, a late dinner, and she was telling me that she and Johnny had a fight in Australia, and I was trying to talk to her about the idea that kind of fighting is not normal. It's too much, you know. It's not okay. But she told me that I needed to basically get down off my cross and mind my own business. She said that Johnny liked that she was feisty. You know, she was feisty, and then he loved it. And that Jerry Judge and I needed to stay out of her marriage. So that was the basic conversation.
Did you respond at all when Ms. Heard told you to get off your cross?
I just kept saying that fighting is not normal. This kind of fighting is not normal.
How close were you to Ms. Heard when you were having this conversation?
We were right next to each other, right here.
Did you see any marks or any discoloration on her face?
No.
Now, Ms. Dembrowski, I'd like to shift gears again and ask you about the period in April and May of 2016. If you could please let us know, as of April 2016, what was the state of your mother's health?
Excuse me. Mom had been, she had been in the hospital for quite some time, and like a long, steady pace from November. So by April, she was, we knew that she was towards the end of her life. So that's what April basically was, and it went into May. In May, we gathered everybody to come say goodbye to her.
How often, if at all, did you visit your mother in April 2016?
She was in the hospital, so I was with her pretty much every day. I was a 24/7 when I wasn't, you know, at the office or something, you know.
Did you ever see Johnny at the hospital?
Yes.
How often did you see Johnny at the hospital in April 2016?
I don't know how often I saw him. I mean, he would come and see her, you know, regularly. Even before that, when there was a period we were trying to help her communicate, and he, you know, brought in, you know, different type tools, pens, pencils, you know, drawing, crayons, just to try to help her communicate. He came as often as he could. He was there quite a bit.
And when you said you called the family together in May, would you please explain what you meant?
We were told by the doctors that Mom was at a point where there was nothing else that we could do for her, and so that we should start calling anybody that wanted to, you know, come and you know, spend a little bit of time and say their goodbyes. So we did that. We did that in May. But,
and moving ahead to May 19, 2016, what was your mother's condition that day?
She was basically in a coma. She was medicated and just on machines, life support, where it was, slowly going away on May 19th.
How do you know that?
I was with her.
Did you see your brother in the hospital that day?
Yes.
What happened the next day, May 20th, 2016?
Well, Mom passed away that morning. We had all the family was there. Johnny was there with his kids until the wee morning hours of May 20th. My kids, my sister, we were all there spending our last bits of time, and everybody else had gone home. Mom passed away probably a few hours after that, maybe 5-6 hours after that.
Who was with your mother when she passed?
I was.
Who, if anyone, told Johnny that your mother had passed?
Sorry.
Take your time.
I did. I called him and I called my our other siblings to tell them.
And I'm sorry, I know this is painful. How did Johnny react when you told him that your mother had passed?
Well, he was sad, but there's a relief that suffering is done. So. He was mostly trying to make sure that I was okay and I was going to leave and not stay there and, sort of take on everything by myself.
So he asked about how you were doing.
Oh, yes, that became quite a big topic. Yes.
Ms. Dembrowski, did you see Johnny the next day, Saturday, May 21, 2016?
I did. I'd gone to his house the night we lost Mom. I think we all kind of gathered our children, right? And I had my sister with me, so I had driven her back on the Saturday, and we were going to go to the funeral home. So I was while I was waiting for her, I went to go check on Johnny and see if he was okay, and wanted to go.
And did you check on Johnny Saturday morning, the 21st?
Yes. I went to see him because we had talked about maybe he would also go to the funeral home. But when I got there, he seemed upset because he and Amber had been fighting.
What else happened when you first met with your brother on the morning of the 21st when you were talking about going to the funeral home?
I went to go see if he was going to go with us. I got there, he was upset. Excuse me, because they were fighting. I got upset because of the day that was chosen to fight. But I went ahead and left and went to the funeral home with my sister, and then came back that evening.
Why were you upset about their fighting on that day in particular?
We had just lost our mom the day before, so I feel like that there might be the need for a little compassion, no fighting on that day.
Did Johnny end up going with you to the funeral home that day?
No, I went ahead and went, and he was gathering his stuff because he had to go pick up some items because he was going to go on tour.
Did you see Johnny again that day once you left him to go to the funeral home?
Yeah, I came back that evening. I came back. I was taking care of my sister for a bit, and then before I left to go home, I stopped at his house to make sure that he was okay, you know, and I saw him then.
And what happened when you went over to see that he was okay?
He was talking to a couple of people. I saw him briefly. He seemed to be all right, and I spoke to Jerry Judge, and they had just come back from him picking up items down at the downtown at the loft.
So when you met him the second day, that time, strike that, when you met him the second time that day on May 21, did you meet with him at his Sweetser house or at the ECB?
No, I went to the Sweetser house. He had gone down to the penthouse to pick up some of his stuff because he was going to be leaving, you know, to go on tour. And I just stopped by after they had just gotten back.
And as of that time, the evening of May 21, your mother had just passed, what plans, if any, had been made for a funeral service for your mother?
We hadn't made any plans for a funeral service. We wanted to wait until we could get, you know, all the friends and family, because we weren't expecting the date necessarily. But we wanted to wait till we can get all friends and family to come together to have more of a dinner, like a celebration like Mom would want at her favorite place. So we waited. We decided to schedule it like a month or so out instead of immediate.
So you had referred to your brothers having plans to go on tour that next week, obviously not knowing that his mother was going to pass.
Right.
What, if any, other formal events had been planned for that next week before he was going on tour?
Well, he had the premiere for Alice that was on the Monday night. Mom passed on Friday, and the premiere was Monday night. And then he was going to take a flight after that, immediately after the premiere. He had to get on a plane to go to New York to meet the band and go on to Europe.
And when you say Alice, just so the jury may understand, if you could please explain to them what Alice is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alice, and I'm so sorry right now. I don't know if it's Alice Through the Looking Glass, maybe was that one's name, or the Alice in Wonderland Disney series, where he played Hatter.
And so that premiere for Alice in Wonderland was going to be on Monday. And what day was Mr. Depp planning to go on tour with his music band?
He had to be there Tuesday morning. So we had to schedule it. It was very tight. We scheduled a plane for him immediately after the premiere. He would get on the plane.
So he was expected to leave on Tuesday. So how long was he supposed to be on tour?
I believe it was a couple of months, something like that.